If you look closely at it here, I did mention to the owner that and back with another video on the old bike. So we got the top done, got the cap on there, the valve cover on there, everything's looking good. And I wanted to replace the gasket here on this side. So the gasket is in place. So we have the camera right here. So the gasket is in place. Hang on, I gotta set the camera up here right. Okay, that's better. Got a new gasket on, fits like a dream. Fits like a dream. Everything fits just oh so perfectly. It fits around the hole here, right? Fits around the dowels perfectly, and then it just drops right into place. But we were having problems with it. Didn't want to shift into 5th gear, so I wanted to check the shift action, and I think I may have found the issue. Let's set the camera up right here again. Get you right down in there with where the shifter is. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Try to put the camera sort of kind of right in my view. So this here is the shift lever. So this is the shift actuator. This bar here is connected to the shifter on the bottom, so if I grab the shifter on the other side, I can make the shift action happen. So, yeah, darn it popped up out of there. So, what you do to test your action and spin the transmission, see, get it in 1st gear. Here's 1st gear. And if you were to look at the back, look at the tire, you can spin the transmission and the tire spins. So we're in 1st gear. There's 1st gear. Then we go up into 2nd, back into neutral. Wait, what happened there? Start over again. Okay, so there's 1st. Go back up into neutral. Here's neutral. 2nd. 3rd. 4th. 5th. So it all locks into gear. It goes into gear and it actually feels really good. But when you're riding the bike, it just doesn't go into 5th gear and it sounds like something in here is grinding. So I wanted to take this out and just have a look underneath it here and make sure nothing's kind of funky and running. But what I did notice is that the actuator arm, this guy right down here, the spring down there with the wheel on it that rides on the star, it's not bouncing up and down like it's supposed to be. That's down into 4th, down into 3rd, 2nd, neutral, 1st. Yeah, they keep popping up. So what I'm thinking was happening with this guy right here, see how you can kind of pop it up and it comes out of the hole here. This here, I'm thinking this is floating in the case too much. So I wanted to put the case cover on with the proper gaskets and try it out then, because something I noticed too is the thickness of the factory gasket is not as thick. It's actually a little bit thinner than that other one that didn't fit. And what that's going to do is going to allow too much clearance between this little button on here and the case half right here. So this is the case half that I grabbed, and you can see there's these little stands on here. There's one here and there's one here. So when this is all flipped over like that, this stand right here, and you can see, well, you probably can't see, if you look right here, it's got little witness marks on it. I'm thinking that this was too far away from this, which allowed the arm to come up too high. And if the arm is up like that, all it had to do was come up just a fraction of a millimeter, and it's not on that arm. And I can take it underneath and see it doesn't even hit that shift actuator. So it does not take much to get stuff out of alignment. So I wanted to put, and my thinking, my thoughts was that the old gasket that was on here, the cheap one, was too thick. So if the gasket's too thick, then we're going to have this issue. And I know Yamaha is very famous for adding the thickness of their gaskets to all their clearances. So I take this and I'm just going to slide this down on here. Nice and easy. Gotta get the water pumping gauge in the counter shaft. And it is in, and here it is. She's nice in place. So now, with that side cover on, we can actuate that clutch, or actuate that shift lever, spin this guy here, and we can see if it goes up into 5th gear. So, that first, okay, that's first. Get it up into neutral, up into 2nd, it's up into 3rd, goes up into 4th, and goes up into 5th. And it goes into all the gears. So, I don't know what was going on there. I really don't. Okay, I guess we'll put it all back together and we'll put the cover on. I'll get the clutch basket and everything put back in there, and then we'll try it again with the cover all bolted together. Strange how that does that. How that did that. You see, I spin the tire. And I can spin the tire, and it spins the transmission. So I can do it this way too. For shifting the gears. Yeah, it's gonna be spinning. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna get some stuff here and we're gonna put it all back together. I'm gonna get the basket put on here before I put the side cover on. It's a pain in the butt because there's not much clearance between the side of the cover here and the basket. I had to move the camera there, I couldn't work around it. Okay. Clutch basket. Clutch basket goes on there. It locks all the way down. Now it's got to go all the way in there. Hey, funky looking washer with the lock, the splines cut in it. Spacer. Okay. Clutch boss goes on next. So there's no debris or anything on it. Boss goes on next. Slides down there. Nut keeper. And big honking nut. So me personally, I don't torque the schnoz balls out of this nut because it's got the locking tab on it. If it didn't have the lock tab, then I'd want to. And I'm going to bend up those one of the lock tabs. I'm only going to do one. I'm not going to do two. Stick my pliers in here and I'm going to pull up on the tab like that. I'm going to set that lock tab up. Now that nut can't spin around. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. I just pulled that up, the little lock tab up. Let's put this back into neutral. Oh, pull right out of there. Okay, so basket is on, boss is torqued, nut is torqued. Put the, I guess you'd call this the actuator, and it's got a little Torrington bearing on it. And it slips into there. So when you pull your clutch cable, it moves that arm. That's how your clutch actuates. And then, see if we can just slide all these babies back in there. Without having to put them in one at a time, which kind of stinks. Oh no, these are going to have to be one at a time. So when you put a clutch in, fiber, steel, fiber, steel, fiber, steel. Start with a fiber, end with a fiber. There's the narrow fiber. And when you're looking at the plates, you're going to have one plate with a rounded edge and one side with a sharp edge. It doesn't matter which way you put them, but put them all the same way. So I'm going to put them all with the rounded edge foot facing up. Fiber. Steel. Round it up. Fiber. Steel. Fiber. So you want to start with a fiber and we end it with a fiber. So that means you got the end right. And the fiber is flush. The last fiber is flush with the top here. Top of the clutch basket. And then the actual pressure plate goes on. So some of these have an arrow or a mark or a notch where they want you to put the boss and the plate and the pressure plate going the same direction. This one doesn't have a notch or a mark. So you can kind of put this in there any way you want, as long as it sits down flush. So just double check here, make sure I'm not making an ass of myself, because that's usually what I do. Hopefully people have been seeing it. Okay, we put the clutch pressure plate on there. Sits down flush. Now you want to make sure that it sits down flush on there. If it's sitting up like this, the clutch isn't going to work. Your bike's not going to go anywhere. So I don't like how that sits in that one. So we'll just move it over. Don't like how it sits in that one. Huh, I don't like how that's sitting in there. It's like it's not going down all the way. I wonder if I have the clutch. I think the clutch might be pulled a little bit. I think that's what's going on here. Okay, let's try it again. Boy, these should have a mark. These used to have a mark. I remember seeing marks on these before. Oh no, it's sitting down flush. Okay, cool. So then we get our springs and our nuts, our bolts, fasteners. It doesn't matter which way you put the springs in, they're all the same. Front and or back. Boy, this is going to be a boring video. Nobody's going to watch this one. I'm not saying anything. So I'm going to use a little gun to snug them down. Don't over torque it. Don't snug them down. It doesn't take much to knock those little stands off of the clutch boss. Nice and easy. Not even all the way in. Side to side, back and forth. Because what you're doing is you're putting pressure on that clutch. All the way in. All the way in, all the way in, all the way in. I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to use a torque wrench now. I'm just going to go by feel. Do not use an impact gun to tighten these up. I use my impact gun to snug them down. Hey, you can see the clutch is biting pretty good. I think these are the same as the side cover bolts. I mean, they're like 7.2 foot-pounds, like 70 inch-pounds. No torque on it whatsoever. we are ready for the side cover and the new Yamaha gasket. Here is the Yamaha gasket. And here is the side cover. That is down all the way. I'm going to tap it with a hammer, but I'm going to use the butt end of the hammer. I would say that that is down and snug. Okay, it's looking good. Side cover bolts. Oil line. Okay, I'm going to throw all the bolts in, and I'm going to put the oil line back on over here. Oil line that goes from here to here. So this is where we're looking right now. It's looking good. Side cover's on, new gasket's on. I'm going to put the oil line. Oil line goes from this hole, and it goes down through here and up into the oil tank. There's a small part right down there. Oil line comes out of right here. See it? Oil line comes out of there, comes through here, up into there. I'm going to put the bolts on, I'm going to put the side cover back on, and I'm going to stand the bike back up, and we're going to get to put the water pump on. Okay, get to work. Okay, so that's where I am. I got the side cover on. I've got the water pump on. Oh, I got to put the oil line on there still. Just plugging away at it. I got the engine mount, upper engine mount on there. I got the carb in there. Okay. See how much farther I can get here. Oil line, and got to put the oil line on. Goes from here to here, and then up to the head, right here. That's next. Okay, there it is. It's all back together. I don't think people want to watch me putting every nut and bolt in these things. I mean, there's nothing to them, you know, seat and gas tank and plastics and stuff, but she's ready for a fire. So I don't have any coolant in it, just in case something doesn't sound right, and you can take it apart if you drain the coolant and mess that all up again. So maybe I'll set it up in the stand and give her some kicks and see if we can't make this baby come to life again. Okay, haven't even kicked it over, don't know what it feels like. So if it's gonna blow up, it's gonna happen on the camera. That's really weird trying to look. Ooh, never mind. Okay, give her. Trying to get this dirt bike running. What? Trying to get the dirt bike running.
I think it's dead.
Ouch. Huh. Okay. Well, What's going on there?
Don't run me over, okay?
I'm not gonna run you over. Okay. Sounds good so far. Yeah. Okay, I'll try this again. Okay, I think I've had enough for tonight. Hey, it runs. Just needs a bit of tuning. It is done. Woo! Goodbye, cursed bike. Goodbye. Goodbye. Woo, she's a hard one to kick over. Ah, goodbye. Goodbye, cursed bike. Goodbye.